daughter's Farm and Craft. So today is bread making day. So tune in and I'll show you just how I make my bread. I have a bread machine here and mine is the Bread Box Toastmaster. So that's what I use. Sometimes I bake in the oven, but a lot of times I'm so busy, so I just throw all the ingredients in there, it whips it all up for me, and it bakes it. So just to give you kind of a preview here, up here it tells the time, which is 3 hours, and you can change your timer amount, and down here it gives you a list of basic bread, whole wheat bread, French bread, sweet bread, if you just want to fast bake for an hour, if you're baking a cake, you're doing dough, or baking. So if I open this up here, it's got this little pan that pops out, and it's a little tray that your bread comes in. You can pop it back up in there and it snaps in. And this guy right here, it actually mixes all the dough in here. So all that I have to do is put all my ingredients in here, set my program, what number I want, and let it go. Now if you're gonna bake banana bread or zucchini bread or anything that has fruit or veggies in it, I would say you need to mix it up in here, or once it starts mixing it, you need to take your little spatula and you need to go along the sides, either that or get everything mixed up and throw in here, and then it will just, you know, keep blending it together, and then I would just check it. I made a banana bread once and I forgot to come in here and check all the sides and scrape it, and it was, I had to end up feeding it to the pigs because it was very bad. I mean, it was baked all the way through, but then the flour was, not all the flour got mixed in. So just make sure that if you're going to use a bread machine, I would do a couple tutorials on it, especially if you're going to make a different kind of bread. And if it's just a basic bread, you don't have to, you just throw everything in there and mix it together. But when you're going to add other things in there, I would definitely probably look, if you don't know what you're doing, I would probably YouTube some different videos that you could do. Alright, well, I'm going to get set up here and I'll be right back. Alright, so I am just making a basic bread. Alright, so we're just going to throw everything in here and it will do the work for us. So I am going to be adding 2/3 cup of milk, and I'm using whole milk. You can use whatever kind of milk you want, but I feel it's best for whole milk. You could use buttermilk too if you want to. Next we're going to add 2/3 cup of water. Three tablespoons of sugar, and I'm just using basic white sugar. And then a half a stick of melted butter. And then we're going to use 4 cups of flour. I am using wheat flour. That's what I enjoy using. There's 1. 2. 3. 4. Now I make mine kind of level in there, only because the next 2 ingredients is going to be your yeast and your salt. Now you can either use 3 tablespoons of yeast or 2 packets. Like if you buy it in the bulk jars, you want 3 tablespoons, but I'm just using the fast rising yeast. So I'm going to put this on the left side. Then we're going to take a half a teaspoon of salt, and I'm using pink Himalayan salt. We're going to put that on the right. And until it starts mixing it, you don't want to, for some reason, you don't want to put both of those next to each other. Sometimes your dough just doesn't turn out right. So that's why I put the yeast on one side and the salt on the other. And that is all of our ingredients. So make sure that's down. Now we're just going to close this. I already have my timer set on 3 hours, and we're just going to hit the start button. And you can hear it making noises. Let's see if I can. I don't know if you can see in there or not. Open it up. You see it mixes it all for you. Now it's going to do this for probably about an hour and a half. It's going to mix it all through. So I'm going to let this keep mixing. So I'll come back at the 2 hour mark and then the hour mark so I can show you, and then obviously the finished product. So I will meet you back. Well, we're almost to the 2 hour mark, and it has formed it into a ball. So it's probably going, what it's doing now is it's just letting it rest. So I've got to get these couple little pieces here that are on there and scrape them back into the bowl. But that's basically what it does. It twirls it and then it let it rest, and it does it again. But it'll do this for probably another half hour. So I'll bring you back at the 1 hour mark. Well, we're down to the last minute, and our bread is rising pretty high. So the dough's all mixed and it rose, and this has happened to me quite often where it is way bigger than the carrying container in there. But it'll cook down a little bit more, or bake, I guess I should say. Yeah, once it starts baking. But now we are at minute and 2, so in 2 minutes, because it has warmed, the whole thing has stayed on warm to where the yeast can rise. And now here at 1 minute, it's going to start baking it. Now let me open this up here. If you can see down in there, my thing's not going to stay up there, but right here in this part down here, it's already starting to brown. So it's cooking the outside. Now it's going to start baking the whole bread. So we'll be back in an hour. Okay, our bread just beeped, so we are ready to take it out, and it did swell down a little bit. So now we're going to pop it out, and it just pops out like this. And we're going to bring it over here to the counter. Okay, let me see how. Still a little hot. I'm just going to poke this down here. It's pretty warm. Alright. Just going to flip it over. We've got to hold the handle. It comes right out. Whoa! Alright, so we're just going to flip it back over, and we're going to let this cool. Now there is a hole in the bottom from where it mixed, but we have some delicious bread that we get to eat. Thanks for watching. Y'all have a blessed day.